I was just saying it's no big surprise that some of the first big purchases or markets for DVDs of television shows was of some of the television shows that were being made around the time that DVDs became popular. You didn't see like people buying DVDs of Dallas or Growing Pains or, and TV shows like Three's Company. No one wants to watch these, but people did want to watch Friends over and over and over, so that you could imagine that it was written for the DVD watching world. It was like a very diverse stage performance, wasn't it? Very diverse, very deep theater level. You're not supposed to see it as deep, but it is. There's a lot of depth to the show, into the different locations, into the supporting cast. They had sort of famous actors coming onto it. Like Lucy, I'm Home, there was more color, there was more range, more sense of space. Characters wasn't like one young son with their young daughter is this, and the dad who's always like upset. In fact, there was no mom and dad. First, so popular shows where mom and dad were very much side characters. Still interesting, but it was like they were supporting cast. They were loved. They said their lines. They were funny and droll in all the right ways for television. But then they were ushered off. They weren't the main plot. Because the main plot was, of course, the life you had with your new family, your friends. Right? The only time that one of the friends has an old person, it's Magnum P.I. himself, Tom Selleck, and she has sex with him. And then almost has sex with his son, who's her age. Right? This is the type of thing you're seeing. Right? There's a breaking of the generational bonds. Right? Mothers who kill themselves. Fathers who are cross-dressers. I don't care much about whether you're a cross-dresser or not. It's just, I see it in this sense, what's happening to the parent. Because he's not just a cross-dresser. The show itself is actually quite disrespectful to cross-dressers because it makes it seem like an absentee parent. And Chandler has just these really traumatic memories of seeing his dad dancing in a dress with boobs and talking like a woman. He always says it, the character himself, in the most droll sort of way. It's not something that connects him with his father, right? It's not considered sexist or wrong in any of the new gender sort of philosophies, but it doesn't make it look good. You don't have to do any work to say watch the show. It's like his father or mother does not seem like a nice person. His mother seems scarcely more than a transgender person anyway, either for theatrical purposes or otherwise. And they don't seem very nice. One of them hits on his friends and sticks her tongue down his throat. I mean, this is Chandler's life. This is our life watching Friends. But it's all cool, right? Come and have a cup of coffee with your friends. They hit their marks, they say their lines. They're funny and sad and dramatic, and expressive in the right ways. But in a way where it's so large, it's so entertaining, and for some extraordinary reason that if you really were there hanging out with these people, you'd probably think it's, in some of the things they do. You have to it'd be funny, but then you'd be like, these people, right? There is nothing strictly real or realistic about it. It's captivating. It holds you captive. And it's the things that hold you captive on television for different technical reasons. That in order to do that, they have to deprive you of the kind of satisfaction that you might want receiving if you were in your right mind, if you weren't being irritated by something or everything or anything every few seconds of tape that you were watching. Right? This is, but also, you're being back in terms of the sheer sophistication in every depth we can, of what's being presented to you, without a doubt, and it is popular to this day. It's been popular for now a quarter of a century. A quarter of a century of still a landmark level of penetration of a single TV show running for 10 or 11 years with maintaining a high audience, right? Huge appeal, huge branding, even to multiple generations, right? Wow. Now, something else you have to be able to do, and it gets into the more very technical, even metaphysical level, is you have to have the right fashion. Fashions can't change too much. Television, color, cinematography, the clothes, the speech, the antics, the gayness of it all types of things have to remain popular for a long time. And sure enough, like Jennifer Aniston, who came out of that era, has kept the same relative look for her entire career. In a sense, she's never grown up. Isn't that fascinating? So that fashion, and what is fashionable, becomes part of the vernacular of, in some sense, yes, the control of human beings. Right? It was precisely placed. The right fashion, the right time, the right technology, the right penetration. Right? I mean, the fact that even one of them went on to a highly successful Hollywood career in cinema, this tells you something about what's behind all of this. How often does that even happen on television? Right? Maybe Magnum PI. Right? Not even Seinfeld had any kind of cinematic crossovers, right? The Muppets did. And what does Jennifer Aniston play? People's girlfriends, right? You know, anything from a country down-home girl to a completely sexually predatory psychopath. Always with that sort of down-home American. So again, analyze media. You can find different things. It's very deep. But another analysis I did to France was particularly any iconography or references to the World Trade Center. Because remember, the show went before and after 9/11. There's another sort of conspicuous correlation as to the presence of these buildings in a representative picture or anyway as a cutaway in different episodes, which themselves had particular numerology related to 9/11, and even specific verbal references in and around the cutaway that seemed impossible to be accidental, that I correlated with numbers, including the air dates of the various episodes, around numbers bearing on 9/11. It was just inexplicable. You'd have to have some kind of like number wizards that were actually enumerating and helping to write various episodes. The destruction of the World Trade Center. So think about that in terms of cultural programming. You know, you're not going to get this at Harvard or MIT. There's wizardry, and it doesn't take away from anything other than an unnecessary loyalty to the more paternal dimensions and religious dimensions of mass media. Have your friends, but have your mind too. Have your senses about you. They're not your friends. Wonderfully entertaining, extremely talented actors, professional liars, professional psychopaths. It's the nature of the industry. It's not wrong. It's just the nature of the industry. It's the nature of the world. The same people they're working for, the same family, are sending their children to school without food and changing budgets so that millions of dollars of food stamps are taken away so they can pipe more bullets into more advanced ways of killing people and the like. And the budget itself, vastly misrepresented as something that has any kind of natural debt or deficit. That the general ledger, seen by most people, of, say, the United States, would list all kinds of debt and whatnot. But in fact, it's raking in a surplus of thousands of trillions of dollars a year every single township, every single major umbrella corporation and agency is a majority owner of Apple and every major industry, media, and telecommunications. They're never losing anything. The rest is just around the budget time, there's someone that comes in, the ceremonial speech is made. Having a debt is against the law, but they have a debt, and they're like, we just do it. And they do it every year on live TV. It's like fucking Groundhog Day. There'll be 1 million more years of increasing debt, even though it's against the law. So says the Lord. And it's all professional leisure demand. It's all fake. It's just religious ceremony. Military system is based on it. It's based on a giant lie. And they pour it on thick every fucking 4th of July, right? Jew lie. It's not a lie of the Jews. It's the lie of death. The lie of debt. It's the debt lie. It's the Jew lie. The Juju. And it goes right when the sun is in its maximum ascendancy. July. Because especially lots of parts of the Northern Hemisphere, for instance, in a lot of the working world, right? You're not going to get your maximum heat in solstice. It's going to come in July and August. Right? In August, you can actually rearrange the letters and make God or gods. You got the letters AU, astronomical unit, or gold. The gold. Give us the gold. Astor, star. Astor is the torture of the sun. Torture of the sun. Astronomy is Aster money, right? Money from the stars, money from the torture of the sun and stars, right? Imposing a reality, a tortured or perverted reality over the people of the sun, over the people of nature, right? Who have this incredible mind, this mind of nature, the speaking animal. And what do? We spent 1,000 years worshiping narratives created by the people who were the most willing to lie to us. It's the entire source of human governorship for 1,000 years. And to what extent do you think they've gone to do that? Time and space and history and science and everything. Hell, if everyone sells us out to this point, how many people are ever going to have a thought that goes outside their mental prison? People would even want to leave that prison or have that thought, More lucrative ways of just manufacturing the local and the generational drug of choice. The slogan of the next generation. Be cool, everyone. It is Canada, after all. Be cool. Because alcohol is the body eater. Alcohol is the body eater. Being cool and fitting in and being fashionable helps you become the industrial cannibal. Shaking your hips to the music, ready to be fertilized by Johnny or Jim or the first father of your bastard children. Right? If we took more time thinking about the world than figuring out how to do the latest June at the fucking jamboree of the wildebeest. I've never liked dancing in public. Never, since I was young. Always fucking terrified of first thinking like there's something wrong with me, of course. But then now it's like, why would you ever want to dance in public? It's the most unfree thing you could ever do is dancing in public. It's such a something you do at home with my family, something I do in nature in ceremonial capacity. Like, it engages me in a sense of numinous completion and physical integration. Not even a static thing, but just something that happens from time to time. That life should break into a dance now, that no one should be watching, but you, and nature, just transfixed by this incredible thing, this undulation that affects the sense of not just completion, but from which proceeding and falls of all of your value in nature become expressed in a physical song moving through your hips and blood. That's not something a club after a couple drinks and you find someone you might want to fertilize. Be fertilized by. It's a totally different thing. It's a sacrilege. Dance should make you and your children a safer thing. Saner, more sober being should never be found in someone who's just finished dancing around in some wild place. It should set you down in a wonderful equilibrium, a beautiful communion of the yet to be understood value of your occupations to survive in whatever this world ultimately is or has been made out to be, to one cost or advantage in another, in your and only your estimation. And the most powerful things we could have, just be our own and nobody else's. And what do you have in yours and nobody else's? Well, there's your life, your breath, your day, your heart, your safety. Oh, okay. When I think about how people I've known have trespassed on my safety, live or work or shop around people whose sense of values, when pressed or strained, reveal themselves to be so fucking different from your own. It's to make you wonder if we're all completely human. That is a phenomenon that deserves some kind of German word, like Fliggenfuchst or something. Look, it's Fliggenfluxed. I'm Fliggenfucked. You're never so fucked unless you're Fliggenfucked. Hey, you're never so fucked, but that you're Fliggenfucked. By Heineken. Drink 3 Heinekens and be Fliggenfucked by various people you thought you knew. It's Jack Daniel's middle name, Fliggenfucked. There'd be like whole movies about how not to be Fliggenfucked, though. I'd be like, sometimes it's not good to be Fliggenfucked. Even though it seems good to most people, some people can't handle being Fliggenfucked. They're of a weak, vulnerable people. Call themselves strong and passive, but are just weak, nubile idiots waiting to be chewed up by the world. Fliggenfucked is not their favorite thing. It should be, but they haven't taken to it. They simply haven't developed a test. And not like we haven't forced it down in times. Flickenfucked. Coming to a in the beginning, Flickenfucked created the heavens and the earth. And then told everyone to be circumcised. And then Flickenfucked went, put on some towels, and meditated in a cave until they became one with themselves and everyone else. Time before the really good people figured it out. Flickenfucked. Coming to a theater near you. I start to get more satirical as the day gets long. Tired. I'm not even strong. A little kitten could take me down. Buddy, are you still with me? Yes. Everybody loves walking with me. People say I also have a cat. It's good to have a cat. I like cats. In spirit. I have a litter box at home. Who wants one of those? There was a puddle the other day, and I could see my familiar cat just standing right there, his tail up, looking at me like, you can see me, can't you? I think that's the idea about the Cheshire Cat, is really the familiar appearing to you when you're on the journey of life. It's one of the more pleasant thoughts in my experiences, threads of the story of my life. I don't call them memories. They're threads of the story of our lives. Imagine the story of your life. That would be the best story, right? Well, every time is part of the story of your life. And that's a wonderful living thing. It's good for you. It's good to think of it as a wonderful living thing. It's not full of memories. It's full of threads that are connected in the most wonderful ether. And the vellum of the Western Baths, the Baths of Western Stars, the vellum of everything at night and day. Anything wonderful that ever coursed through your veins as a child, which is the most real and wonderful thing that there is. And it's good to just respect that. Even if it's your own language or it's just your own, the best things are only yours. The best things are things that belong to us in ourselves. They are our very own. Like your own body, your name, your own mother and father, your own people, your own sanctity. Sanctity you don't see. Not in an affected older man's voice. You don't see. Right. I used to play with my whiskers. Probably a good thing that I find when adults are saying anything, and I'm very sensible of it, and I've learned that. I just totally walk the other way of life. It's so shocking. I find it's the thing that I have to be most patient with, and that I most want to just cure mental problems. Yeah, it's just the thing. I wish you just all would stop ever being sexual with me. That the human race would just have non-sexual day. And you could walk around sexual too, or have sexual thoughts about you, or look at you as a sexual being. Viable dick, viable semen, viable hip pumping, but viable hands for building, or just stroking your pendulous breasts at night. I got a twofer yesterday. Cougars at once, standing me off on the edge of the river. It was a big cougar standoff. Cougarama. Oh, buddy, you have brought such wonders. Yeah, I got a two for who was sexually harassing me yesterday. Pinned me in over there. Totally unconscious, of course. Just it's amazing the entitlement of women to do things to men that you would never see men do to a woman my age, ever, 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 ever. I would never want the way they treated me, ever. It's just like, oh my god, you know? I mean, I knew guys when I was like 17, 18, 19 years old who would do embarrassing things. But, wow, they just so embarrass themselves. Like 60, 65, 70. Well, it's kind of easy to see what's on hold in their minds, and it ain't sobriety. It ain't like what you would expect from someone who has enough time to really think about what's important in life and very aggressively. And you know, at best you might say, well, it's good to have a little spunk in them, but I don't think it's healthy to initiate any kind of sexual harassment with a person of the opposite sex under any circumstances. There's a white woman there, and she sounds very social, but she's laughing a lot talking to this guy. And it's like when women laugh a lot, if you're in a conversation with them, it's very disarming, and it's nice, and they smile and laugh a lot. But women who smile and laugh now, they're really using a feminine wile. I call it a feminine wile. They're putting out feminine energy and just spraying it. It's happy-go-lucky energy for sure, but it's enormously disarming. In which you would think only the most cynical person would read any kind of potential aggression. But it's like smiling a lot. It's kind of a nicer way of making too much eye contact. It could be seen as nervousness, so it's disarming. But also that is disarming means that it can't be eliminated from a suspect list of potentially aggressive strategies. It certainly makes aggression more possible if someone in any reason demands more passivity from you, especially someone you don't know. And I've met men this way who are disarmingly laughing all the time. One of them I knew quite well from the years, just always laughing, they're kind of like belly laughs, but there was just a tinge of something unhealthy about it. And sure enough, you just I just learned to not to be around that. So when I hear someone laughing, I just don't breathe peace. You're making a show of something. It's nervous energy. It might be that what you're saying completely contradicts other things about you. And so laughing is a good way to release the tension. Right? I'm feeding off you. I'm laughing because maybe you make me nervous. If you start laughing, because you don't need to be. Do I need to be? We don't know each other. We don't have to be anything to each other. Are you selling me something? I'm not going to sell you something. You're going to take something from me. Look, if you don't feel totally comfortable being here, then you don't have to be. And we can go. And I'm sure in a sense your life will only improve every moment you take away from me. That you need to laugh so much when you're around me. You can't say this because that was violent, but it's the truth. Right? And that person is involving you in a denial of the truth because they've grown up themselves in an aggressive environment. And when people come up to you and you feel like they don't make a provision for you, objecting to